Okay, I think I'm live here. All right, hey everybody. It is a pleasure to be here in manUP Speak Up, and hopefully you all can hear me on here, and hopefully everything's going all right, but I believe I'm live, and so I'm excited to be here with you all. So good afternoon or good evening, wherever you guys are across the world. I think there might be a majority of you up in the UK, so I guess it's evening time over there. It's afternoon over here, so yeah, but wherever you are across the world, I'm pleased to be here with you guys. So, and I also want to give a quick shout out to Mike Scotland. I appreciate you letting me come and talk to everybody, and it's a real pleasure to be here with you guys. I am really excited to be here because I really admire this group, and I admire you guys all for being here. You know, you men and women who want to make things better, you know, who really want to redefine what it means to man up and to speak up. So I think that it's really cool, and I admire the mission here. So I'm grateful to be here with you all. I hope you all are having a great day, and I'm not sure what you guys know about this topic that I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight, but I came here because I want to talk to you all about something that's a little bit new in the mental health industry. And it's a little bit different, and perhaps some of you have heard about it, perhaps some of you haven't. But today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about the new gut-brain science that can really help to transform your mental mood, your speed, and also your mental performance. So that's something that I work in a lot. And so let me introduce myself just a little bit more. Hey, Mike, great to see you on here. Oh, guys, great to see you. So I don't know if you guys can leave comments or anything, but if you can, they might be disabled here, but if you are able to comment, I'd love to know where you guys are tuning in from across the world. I'd love to know where everybody's coming in from, or if you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear that too. But anyhow, so like I said, my name's Megan Wood, and I'm a mental wellness high performer. So I'm a high performance mental wellness coach. And this is something that I love talking about. I love feeling better. I love feeling our best. Oh, hey, there we go. Okay, good. I'm glad the comments work. I wasn't sure if they did. Hi, Caroline. It's awesome to see you on here. All right, cool. So like I said, if you guys just leave a comment, let me know where you're tuning in from. I love hearing from you guys. And also too, if you have any questions on this topic, let me know. Again, this is one of my things that I love talking about. So anyway, so it's all about mental high performance in my opinion. I think that we can always do things to optimize and to feel better. I think one of the greatest feelings on this planet is when we are feeling alive, energetic, you know, and you got good focus, when you feel like you know what you're doing, you know, you're in your work and you're energetic and you're able to focus on that work. You're not feeling the brain fog, you're not feeling the confusion, you know, those sorts of things. And so I like to help people feel their very best. So with that then, why don't we go ahead and dive in? I'm just going to give you an overview of what this gut-brain science is. And again, if you guys have questions about this, please throw them in the comments because I love to answer them. So what the heck am I talking about with the new gut-brain science? Well, to let you guys know just a little bit, what I'm talking about here is for a term called the gut-brain axis. So perhaps you guys have heard that, perhaps not. The gut-brain axis, just in its simplest form, really is talking about your gut, which is your microbiome, your stomach, you know, it's your digestive tract, which, you know, down here, sorry, you can't even see my stomach. Doesn't matter, you've got one. But we're talking about your gut environment, so your digestive tract, and how that connects with your brain. So your first brain, which is in your head. And then nowadays, so perhaps you guys have been following the science a little bit. I don't know if you guys like to geek out about that, but your microbiome has actually been developing in the scientific world for like the last 10 years. We've started to really kind of shift towards this. I'd say it's been happening over the last 10 years. And so traditionally, if we back up just a little bit, if we look at kind of the science of mental wellness and mental health, you know, how we feel, you know, the way that we think, all that sort of stuff, traditionally, science tells us that we need to focus on our brain, right? It's our, you know, so the first brain in our head, and it kind of makes sense. And so traditionally over the years, we've always thought that that's kind of where things are originating from, our feelings, you know, the way that we're feeling emotionally, you know, the way that we're thinking, you know, how our focus, you know, all those sorts of things. We've thought that that actually all originates in our brain. And it certainly is important. We don't want to neglect our brain, right? But what's really neat is that over the years, we've started realizing that actually we now know that we have a second brain, which is in our gut. And so again, you guys have probably heard a little bit about this. I feel like it's kind of all over the news these days. You know, you got to have, you know, take care of the healthy bacteria in your body, you know, make sure that, you know, you got probiotics, all that stuff. So we're definitely going to talk a little bit about that too. But that's kind of the overview of what we're talking about here, is that what's going on in your gut affects your brain. It affects the way that you feel because it is connected to your brain. And so let me tell you a little bit more about what the gut-brain axis actually is. So like I said, we're talking about the gut, your digestive tract, and also the brain. The way that they're connected then is through a few different ways. So there actually is a hard wire between your digestive tract and also your brain. And it is called your vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is kind of like a nerve superhighway connecting the two portions in your body. And so it goes directly from the brain down to the digestive tract. And the vagus nerve is actually very important. It does a lot of different things for your body. And so that is actually a hardwire connection in your gut-brain axis. And then we also have chemical messengers. A specific example of that would be cytokines, but we don't want to get too deeply into that. But we do have chemical messengers that are running between your gut and your brain. And then we also have what's known as, so when we talk about the gut-brain axis, that axis between the two is your immune system. So your immune system actually acts as a messenger between the two as well. And then we have, of course, neurotransmitters. So your neurotransmitters are also very important between your gut and your brain. And actually the things that make up your neurotransmitters are actually formed in your gut. So it's kind of fascinating, and I love to geek out about this stuff all day. So again, if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna look over here real quick, make sure, hey, good to see you guys. Coming in from Coventry. Welcome. Great to see you guys. All right, so let's keep talking about this then. I don't want to get too crazy with you guys. But anyway, so your gut-brain axis, the brain in your head, and then your second brain in here, down in your gut, they're talking to each other all the time. And one thing that I find really interesting about this is that if you guys look back in history, the way that we talk about it, reflects that we've kind of always been aware that our gut does kind of have some importance in the way that we feel. Have you guys ever used the phrase think with your stomach, or what's your gut feeling, right? We probably heard some of those phrases. What's your gut telling you, your gut reaction, your gut instinct, things like that. I think it's kind of cool that our language over the years has kind of reflected that, hey, there's something going on in our stomach that's kind of affecting the way that we feel. So it's quite interesting. So anyway, and also too, just to circle back again, why are we talking about this? So traditionally, again, we focus mostly on the brain, and in terms of how to, optimize our brain and to feel better, we always thought that it was about using antidepressants, things like that, using the heavy pharmaceuticals. And while I'm not interested in poo-pooing on the pharmaceutical industry, I'm really not. I think that those things are important. But I do come on here today because I do want to suggest that there is another way of addressing our mental wellness. And of course, I do believe that one of those major solutions is going to be in managing our gut-brain axis. So let's get back to it. Oh gosh, guys, thanks for the hearts. I love this. Always makes me feel like a rock star coming on here and seeing all these little hearts and emojis. Anyhow, but to get back to it. So we're talking about the gut-brain axis. And to get just a little bit even more specific about what your gut microbiome is then, to give you guys just kind of a brief definition of what your microbiome is it's this ecological community of trillions of bacteria living in and on your body. So we're primarily interested right now with the bacteria that are living inside of your digestive tract. However, just know that there are also a ton of bacteria living on your skin as well that are important to your skin health as well. But we are going to be focusing on your digestive tract bacteria. But one, I just want to throw out a crazy fact for you guys, and this is kind of interesting. You are actually only 10% human. Kind of nuts. I think it's really cool when I first learned that was the estimate, that we're about 10% human. So if you look at the amount of DNA in your body, there's about, you're only about 10% human in those terms. So we have about, let's see, yeah, so about 90% bacterial DNA is what's found inside of our body. So we're only 10% human. So we're kind of like aliens, actually. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, but of course, luckily, when we look at a person, you mostly just see that 10% human part. We don't look like giant microbes, which is cool. So anyway, but that just tells you how important then the bacteria in your body are. And so I want to shift now just a little bit into talking about why your gut health, how it affects your brain. So like I said, we have some different messengers. We have some different ways that our brain and our microbiome are talking to each other. I mentioned that your neurotransmitters, that I think we're all pretty familiar with that, right? Your neurotransmitters are really important chemical messengers inside of your brain, and they relay information so that your body can, be managing itself and being regulated. Well, those neurotransmitters are actually being formed largely in your gut. And so the food that we take in, our nutrition, that becomes the raw fuel that gets processed then by our digestive tract, and largely by the bacteria in there, and it gets broken down and it forms those chemicals that then become your neurotransmitters. Kind of a huge game changer there. So what I'm saying here then is that you are kind of what you eat. If you're not taking in proper nutrition, you're not going to be able to be providing the raw fuel that your body needs to be working at its optimum state. So nutrition becomes a huge thing, and we'll come back to that because I know you guys are some of you might be kind of groaning within right now. I know sometimes people are like, I don't want to worry about nutrition, but it is important, so we'll come back to that. But anyhow, so we have trillions of bacteria living in there. And also another cool fact here is that your gut microbiome is actually more diverse than the Amazon rainforest. So the Amazon rainforest is, amazing because it has so many different species of, creatures and things living in there, right? Well, you are more diverse than the Amazon rainforest. And so the bacteria in your body is super important. And to talk to, we'll come to this later, but there's a reason why we kind of want to be careful too with antibiotics. Not that they're bad. Again, I do not want to poo-poo on the pharmaceutical industry or antibiotics, anything like that, because those are important. Again, though, it's just kind of shifting our focus in the way that we think about how we deal with these things. So, so your gut microbiome, again, huge effect on the brain. It produces neurotransmitters. It produces all kinds of things that then that really help affect the way that we feel. And so with that, then, let's shift a little bit into talking about solutions. How are we going to feel good with this? I see some more comments coming in here. Excellent. Pamela, I love that. Yes, Super 8 microbiotics, fantastic. Yes, after antibiotics, yeah, that is super important. And so I think, and I love that you highlighted that and put that in the comments because that's an important thing. So I'm going to talk about that right now, actually. So just to address that, there's a reason why your hubby takes those microbiotics after he's gone on an antibiotic. So guys, when you take an antibiotic, it's been estimated that you lose about 5 strains of those bacteriums that are inside of your digestive tract every time you do an antibiotic. So that's why I say you want to be careful with how heavily we're using antibiotics. A lot of the times people, I'm not sure how it is in the UK. I know that we're kind of all over the world, so I know there's probably some people here who live in the States. I know here in the States, we tend to overdiagnose a little bit with the antibiotics, and we tend to overuse them a little bit. So it's not that they're bad, but we do want to use them carefully and be careful when we use them because we do wipe out about 5 species of bacteria when we take those. And the thing is, we want diversity within our gut. You don't want just a few strains of bacteria. You want to have lots of diversity. And so we want to make sure that we're nurturing that through our nutrition, which will include those probiotics, which we'll come back to that. Loving the emojis, guys. It's great. Anyway, so when it comes to nurturing then our gut-brain axis, there's a lot of different things that we can do. I'm first, though, going to focus on nutrition, and already I fear that I'm talking way too much here, guys. So anyway, also, too, guys, I just want to throw it out there. I do have a mental wellness toolkit for you guys, and so if you are interested in receiving just a free mental wellness toolkit, it's a cool guide that you guys can get free. That does kind of go over some of these things just because there's some more in-depth information that I would love to give you guys, but I just don't have the time here. I fear I would bore you. So if you guys do want some in-depth information, I can send you guys a mental wellness toolkit. And so just say yes, please, in the comments, and I'll make sure you get one. Anyway, but back to those solutions then. So like I said, what we're taking into our bodies is going to be hugely important to our gut microbiome and nurturing it, making sure that it does everything that it needs to. And so, like I said, probiotics are huge. So just a word on probiotics for a moment, because I know that that's kind of a huge catchphrase nowadays. I've got 5 billion CFUs, I've got 10, gazillion CFUs or whatever in my my probiotics and all that. And so CFUs are colony forming units. And so what we're talking about with probiotics, so if you guys think of your microbiome in terms of a garden, within a garden we have seeds. We plant seeds, right? You want to have a beautiful garden. You want to plant flowers, whatever it is you want to plant in your garden. I don't know, maybe I'd have a veggie garden someday or something. But anyhow, within your garden, you're going to be planting seeds, right? And then as part of that, you're going to plant it in dirt. It's where we plant our seeds. And then you're going to want to feed those seeds things so that it will grow into a nice big tall plant. So you're going to want it to get proper sunlight. You're going to want it to have water. Maybe you might even throw in some fertilizer in there depending on your plant. If you're really giving it the good stuff. So in terms of that garden scenario then, your microbiome is a lot like that. And so if we think about probiotics then, those are the healthy, good, live bacteria that you're going to put into your body. And so within your digestive tract then, so I don't want to get too crazy, guys, but we've got 3 different types of biotics that we're going to talk about here. So there's probiotics, which is the healthy bacteria. You've got something called prebiotics, which are the actual things, the nutrition that's going to help your healthy, good bacteria survive. Those, it's kind of like the fertilizer and all that. And then you have what are known as phytobiotics. That's kind of like the soil that's going to help create a really healthy environment for your good bacteria to grow in. And so that's what we have within our microbiome. You want to be planting your probiotics in healthy environments, so that would mean you want to take a nutrition that's high in phytobiotics. So that would be a lot of different kinds of fruits and vegetables. And again, let me know if you want the guide. That'll give you guys some ideas of how to up your nutrition there. And then also prebiotics, which are going to feed those healthy bacteria. So some natural sources of probiotics then, guys, are going to be things like sauerkraut, the fermented foods. So if you guys like kimchi, if you like yogurt, kefir, kombucha, things like that. Those are all ways to get live bacteria. And then, of course, probiotics. You can actually take a supplement for that. And so, of course, you want diversity. And then I also want to throw this out there too, guys, and I apologize again, I'm throwing so much at you. So again, let me know in the comments what kind of questions you guys have about this. But there is actually something known as psychobiotics. And this, I think, is really cool, and I learned about this a little while ago. Before, I didn't know what this was, but psychobiotics, what this is talking about are basically the targeted bacteria that have targeted effects in the body. So when you guys think of probiotics, oftentimes we just go to the store and we pick out whatever bacteria, sorry, be careful with what I use this, whatever probiotic is on the shelf. I mean, obviously you can find bacteria just about anywhere. We don't want to be just going and scrubbing some off the floor and taking it in. We want to be careful, guys. So we go anyway, but in terms of probiotics, we go to the grocery store, wherever you like to purchase your probiotics. And, we might just, say, okay, well, that's got like 10 billion, CFUs, that's got 5 million, whatever, and so you might be like, okay, well, that looks cool. The more, the better. So we want to have lots of CFUs. That's definitely important. However, we also want to have targeted probiotics. So what's interesting, so like I said, with psychobiotics, what we're talking about is targeted bacteria. Certain probiotics do certain things. So there are certain strains of bacteria that can have targeted effects in your body. So for example, some strains of bacteria are good for digestion. Some are good for mental wellness. Some are good for cardiovascular health. I didn't have time to talk about how your heart is actually now considered a third brain. We'll have to talk about that later. But what the probiotics that you use do matter, and they do have targeted effects in your body. So anyway, so nutrition is a huge way to take care of your gut-brain axis. Also, too, I'm just going to talk about the top 3. You're probably going to laugh at me, guys, and you're probably going to be like, well, that was dumb, that was simple. However, these 3 major things do have a huge effect on your body, on your gut-brain axis. And so the next one is sleep. sleep is so crucial. And I know for those of you who are working in the offshore oil and gas industry, this probably is hard to come by. You know, Mike was telling me a bit about the work that you guys do, and it is amazing. I mean, you guys are probably, you know, sleep, you know, a little bit sleep deprived. I mean, though, for anybody, you know, who is, you know, out there working hard and stuff, I mean, sleep sometimes can get hard, especially if you get stressed out and, you know, then you find that you can't fall asleep. There's different things we can do for that, but I do want to let you guys know that sleep does have a huge effect on your mental wellness. Because if you're not getting enough sleep, then that increases cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and so that does have some funky effects on your mental wellness. And so so that's number two. So you really want to focus, number one, on nutrition, and then number two, you also want to be focusing a lot on your sleep, making sure you're getting enough of it, and then also doing things so that you get good quality sleep. And then number three, the third category that also is very important, which is also a no-brainer, you've probably heard it many times, but again, I stress it here, exercise. So hopefully you guys have access, you know, maybe to a gym, you know, wherever it is you're working, or, you know, maybe you're in an area where you can just kind of go around and go for a run or something, you know, do some push-ups, calisthenics, whatever it is you need to do. But exercise absolutely has a huge effect, because what that does is that helps to manage that cortisol, that stress hormone, that helps to manage that and to regulate things really well in your body. And then actually, to another cool fact, so for some antidepressants, what we're doing is oftentimes we might just be feeding the body dopamine. You know, we're just going to be, all right, let's give you some artificial dopamine, or, you know, some of those artificial neurotransmitters to try and up you, you know, to help up your mood that way. Well, guess what? Exercise in some cases has been shown to be just as effective as using an antidepressant, has been just as effective at helping to boost the mood and the way you feel. So when you exercise, that has a huge effect on your mental state. So those are the three ways that I really want to leave with you now for how to boost your gut-brain axis. I don't want to take too much time. I intended for this to be a little bit shorter. However, I wanted to share with you guys some good, valuable information. Hopefully this helped. If you guys do have more questions, I'll try to monitor the questions on here and answer you guys back. Also, feel free to reach out to me. I'll go ahead and throw my website into the comments here, and if you guys want to visit me there, I do free consults. So you guys want to hop on there and talk more, we can absolutely talk about what's going on with you, give you some tips, see how we can help you. But I appreciate you guys for coming on here, and I hope that this was helpful. And then also to let me know in the comments, just comment yes please, and I'll make sure that you guys get the mental wellness toolkit. That'll give you a little bit more in-depth information then that you can use as kind of a checklist for yourself to go through and give you some ideas of how to optimize your gut-brain axis, and also, most importantly of all, your mental wellness in general. So hope this helped, guys. I'm really grateful that I could be here with you all. I really admire you guys for changing the phrase man up and what that means, because I think that to be truly courageous means to speak up. You know, whatever's going on, I think the most courageous thing we can do is to just speak, to talk, you know, to say what's going on in our lives, and to just be ourselves and to bring what we've got to the table. So I admire you all for being here. Anyway, hope that helped. Have a great day, and hope to talk to you guys again later. So have a great evening. Take care. Bye.